What's up, leaders? Scott Matthew here from nixyourlimits.com, and today we are talking about mindset. Today we're talking about perspective. Okay, I want you to think about something. When somebody invents something awesome, something new, something game-changing, they're taking the existing resources or their situation and they're putting it together in a different way to achieve something greater than anyone would have ever imagined. Okay, the same thing can happen with you in your own personal situation based on your mindset and your perspective. And so let me tell you what I'm talking about. You may be a student in middle school, high school, starting college. It doesn't matter. Whatever stage that your life is in right now, you have the ability to look at the resources around you, look at the opportunities that have been presented before you, and put those things together to achieve something greater than anyone would have ever thought that you could achieve at that stage of life. Okay, so this happened for me. And so that's why I want to talk about it with you, and I want to kind of share some of my experience. When I was in high school and middle school, I started young, just loved sports. Okay, sports was my thing. Football, basketball, soccer, whatever. In high school, I got into track. I just loved to compete. I loved to better myself. I wasn't so much focused on competing with others, but as competing with myself. How did I do last time? And I think that's something that was ingrained by my parents, I guess. It didn't matter if I won or lost. Every day I came home and it was like, well, how did you do? Did you play better than last time? Did you improve? Things like that. That's what the focus was on. And so I started developing that into my day-to-day life. And I saw so much growth. Granted, I had an amazing coach in high school, some amazing coaches and teammates that I was able to be around that helped shape me. But I know that by consciously investing in myself through that sports opportunity, I was able to see a lot of growth. But I didn't really know what was happening until I got into college. When I was in college, I jumped on to a student leadership position called a resident assistant. And in that position, I don't remember what clicked for me, if it was a fancy phrase or a motivational quote or whatever, but all of a sudden it made so much sense that if I started to really develop on myself and my leadership, communication, organization skills, that I was going to be so much better off when I graduate and start applying for those big jobs, the career jobs, things like that. And so I started doing that. Every time we sat down for like one of our trainings for student leaders and they talked about, okay, here's how to be organized and like plan this event that we had to plan, or here's how to communicate well with these hard situations. I started taking those opportunities that they were teaching me on how to be good in the moment as a resident assistant and saying, how can this connect with me for my career? How can this connect when I have to be part of a team and supervise other people? Okay, I started making those connections with as many things as possible, and I quickly saw growth. I quickly saw my mindset being able to connect everything to my future. Because essentially that's why I was at school too, right? To get a degree so that I can be able to get my foot in the door when applying for those big jobs. And so because that made so much sense of like, obviously you have to have an education, then I want to develop as a person too, so that I don't just have a diploma, but I'm more than that. And if I'm more than that, I can be more qualified than other candidates. And so it kind of just made sense to me, and I might not have communicated that super well. But what I want to challenge you to do is to choose growth in everything that you do, to choose growth. There's two different mindsets that people can have, either a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. And the difference between the two is centered on you as a person, your skills, your qualities, your habits, your hobbies, your characteristics, your leadership, that kind of thing. Everything that makes you a leader. And the difference with the mindsets is you either see that capacity, all of those things that make up you, as fixed. So like they're at a level and that's where they stay and there's not a lot of growth. But you already have developed what you most want or like most you're trying to become. So you either have that and that's what it is and it doesn't go anywhere, or it's moldable and there's so much potential and you don't define it, but you continue to grow and nurture and develop that. Okay, and so those two different mindsets affect how you approach different leadership situations and in many aspects of your life. So if those who are in a fixed mindset and they get a bad grade on a test that they studied a lot for and that they were really thinking positively for, and then all of a sudden they get a bad test. Those with a fixed mindset look at themselves They define their set skills that they feel they have, their set intelligence levels, leadership capabilities, that kind of thing. They define that as worthless. They define that as, oh my gosh, I'm a loser, like I'm stupid, I'm dumb, like they do name calling. They look at those who are just like, it's blame, like, oh, that teacher's out to get me, that teacher just plays favorites. That's why I didn't get a good score on my test, because the teacher got mad at me that one time for talking, so they're holding it against me, okay? It's fixed. They try to define the situation as kind of a reflective of their intelligence, of what they're trying to hold. And that makes it so they can't grow. They will not grow. They don't reflect, see? And so that switch gears for the growth mindset. That same person gets a C plus on their test that they thought they were for sure going to get an A on. They instantly start looking at, okay, that test was a lot harder than I thought. I wasn't as prepared as I thought I was. So I'm going to start talking to the teacher and find out how I can level up my expectations so that I'm better prepared for the next test. Or, man, I totally know, like, my study schedule, it wasn't that good. I was kind of hyping up myself, but I definitely could have spent more time studying, or maybe studying in the right way. There was that review sheet that the teacher handed out, and I thought I could just study without it. People with a growth mindset look to not prove their intelligence and say, like, oh, it was your fault. They don't try to prove their intelligence or their potential or capacity. They try to improve their potential, their capacity, their abilities, their skills. And that is the difference. Stop trying to show your authority on other people in every situation you have as a leader. Stop trying to blame other people, that if somebody says something bad about you and you hear about it, instead of saying, well, who said that? Who said that? That's not true. Instead, take a second, no matter how outrageous the rumor or anything like that, take a second to stop and say, to what degree is there any truth to that? That's a growth mindset. Because even though the main claim, the main rumor might be just totally crazy, it might be rooted in one moment when you had an interaction with that person and you treated them poorly. Maybe because you were super stressed, or maybe because you were busy, or it didn't even cross your mind, but it came off to that person negative, and that's where that rumor rooted for. You can fix that. You can fix that individual interaction, but you can't fix other people. When you say, well, who did that? I'm going to go cuss him out for saying bad things about me. That's not true. You're defaming my credibility, and you're trying to define my intelligence, my capacity as a leader. So don't let people prove that. Don't you try to prove that to other people. Just try to improve, and the results take care of themselves. Okay, today that's all about mindset, growth mindset and a fixed mindset. Choose growth in everything you do. Start right now. Start connecting the things that you're doing, the situation you're in, to your future career. That's how you're going to catapult your success. That is how you're going to achieve the most in your career and in your life. So get out there and nix your limits today. Do something that you didn't think you could do, and neither do others, and maximize this moment. Get out there. Good luck. Comment below how you are going to choose to have a growth mindset. Maybe there's an example that you thought of. Share it with others so we can all grow together. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.